Ma,
Yeah.
Jen,
Yeah.
toe.
Yeah.
Magento is on a rockin' bird. Rockin' bird. Magento. Welcome to the Magentleman Podcast.
Welcome to the Gentleman Podcast once again. If you're here for the sixth time, the actual sixth time, because we have the classified episode that will go unreleased for many, many years. If you're here for the sixth time, we love and appreciate you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep. You can't see
times
my nipples through this shirt, can you? I'm cool.
no, is it like cold or something at your
No,
house?
it's like one of those thin shirts. I want to make sure I'm not violating the YouTube policy.
Then we get demonetized. We won't get our quarter of a penny.
Yeah, I mean we haven't monetized yet, but we should think about that.
So we can start raking in those quarters.
We start slanging NordVPN and like 1-800-Flowers and MeUndies.
No. We have to start slanging Amnesty modules.
There you go. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And
Or like recruiters. Jarvis
yeah.
Cole, what's up?
Shout out to Jarvis Cole for showing all the love on episode 4.
If you would like to sponsor us, just
Yeah.
hit the inbox on LinkedIn.
We accept anything.
I could use a podcasting mic.
A podcasting mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, get Steve a podcasting mic.
Proudly sponsored by.
See, I was the one with the crappy mic before, but the crappiness is relative, right?
Yeah.
So
now
since I upped the game, now you're the one with the crappy mic, even though your mic was the good mic before.
Yeah, and you've upped your camera game as well.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
I was trying to fix my lighting with I got a beauty light. I know it's called other things, but a beauty
ring light. Yeah.
A ring light. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But it I think I cheaped out too much on it. Right now I just have a light hitting me in the face.
Yeah, well, I mean
so
that's
shiny.
that's what I have too.
You have a light
Shining right in my face, yeah.
Yeah. But
that's podcast life, right?
Yeah. We got to do what we have to do for the fans, man. Give them what they want.
The other thing is, as soon as I turned on this setup, I noticed a large blemish.
Yeah.
On my face, and I'm like, I don't know what's up with that. Like, do I need to? First of all, why didn't my wife tell me earlier that I have a big red mark?
She'll care when you start when this podcast starts making some money, and you can. Right now, she's just like, you're fine.
Yeah, I'll just start having a little layer of foundation. That's all. That's no big deal.
Yeah, you need a makeup crew.
It's all part of the business, man.
I mean, right? You got to invest initially.
Podcast life, man.
Yeah, but so are you ready to introduce the topic?
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so today's topic is about working from home. Pretty relevant topic given how a lot of companies are moving to. Well, a lot of companies have actually moved to 100% remote, or I guess permanently having remote teams. I don't know if it's necessarily the entire company, but I definitely a lot of IT teams are permanently remote, right? I guess if the company doesn't own the building, right, or maybe they can sell it wherever these people were working at, other companies may not have that option.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably COVID has forced lots of companies, most companies in the U.S. to at least for some number of weeks, if not a couple of months, to
Yeah.
have worked from home. And I would think a lot of those companies realized, hey, we can actually do this, and it works okay. We can eliminate overhead.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Yeah.
let's keep doing it. And it doesn't. I mean, there's no clear like end to COVID, right? So, I mean,
Yeah. It's
R.I.P. to everybody.
yeah. Yeah. Definitely for anyone who's lost someone during COVID.
Stay safe
Um,
out there.
yep. Um, but for real, like at this point, I thought, I thought people would have been fully back to work and, things would have kind of normalized, but it seems like COVID has become the normal, right? And the old way of living, the non-COVID life, is no longer the normal because COVID is just kind of not going away.
Yeah.
Um, even
Yep.
in place, yeah. So even in places where the numbers started to go down, it seems like now that people like states and countries are starting to open back up, COVID is starting to spike again. Um, I don't know. I'm not like really scheduled to go back to work until March. So I've been working at my job for 6 months. I have never like I've been to the office for meetings, but I have never like actually worked there like all day or anything. I mean, how are things on your end? Are you guys still remote or?
Yeah. I mean, about a month ago, we started a thing where it's like we go in once a week, and then 1 week per month. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, but up until then, we were fully remote for I think a good 3 months. It was like when North Carolina first did the hardcore shutdowns of like gyms and bars and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, that's when they decided to keep us home, and we had around that time too. You know, some scares at work with people like, "Ooh, do they have COVID? Do they not?" And everybody just kind of freaked out. Like, uh,
But I think it turned out that no one actually contracted COVID there, right?
yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Um,
We've dodged a bullet at my company so far as I know.
yeah, yeah. Because there's like asymptomatic cases, right? You're just out there spreading it, and you're totally fine.
Yeah, which is why I wear the mask. I know not everybody is into masks, but
Yeah.
it's like you never know. I mean, I don't want to be accidentally responsible for spreading it around.
You know what's weird? Like I would always see videos of people like in Japan or in China wearing masks, right?
Yeah,
And like I heard this, like there was some article about mask culture, right? Like the US doesn't have a mask culture. And I think now we definitely have a mask culture, right? And I think that the next time something happens, it's going to be less of a, oh, you need to wear your masks. People are probably just going to default to that now. So since it's so ingrained in us
yeah. I think,
at this point.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you're right. Like Japan and I think South Korea had a big pandemic, or not pandemic, but epidemic. I think maybe it was swine flu or something like a year or two ago. And
Yeah.
so they had like the culture in place, and they were actually really kind of prepared for masking up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand how masking became like political either. It's like for some reason there's like some people who uh, don't want to wear the mask.
Oh, those people are definitely going to unsubscribe now.
Yeah, I mean,
Look, I love you anti-maskers. Just don't um come around. just just speak to me remotely.
yeah. So that's the remote thing, right? That's the remote thing to do. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, people feel like their um rights are being violated because they're being asked to do something that they've never had to do before. They're not. you know what? Let's not delve
No,
too
no,
much into
I
this
don't want to
because we
either.
might get
Yeah,
into. You say what?
I don't want to either. Yeah, I'm not trying to get political on one way or the other. It's just interesting that for some reason that ended up being, and I definitely understand why. Like, uh, I mean, they came out at the very beginning. I don't know if you remember this, and they said masks don't help, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just like,
I feel like there was so much confusion
yeah.
and mixed uh, messages around that. Um,
And now it's
but
like we're all supposed to be on the same exact page, and it's like, well, but what about how we
all
got
the
these
all
different
the
messages?
contradictory,
Yeah,
yeah, from all like it wasn't even just political officials, right, or like people in the public eye. It was actual like scientists
yeah.
and the CDC that didn't have their story straight. It was like, oh, they don't do anything, and then it's like, well, it doesn't do anything. What is it?
So
It
the
doesn't.
the
Yeah, I don't
explanation that
remember.
I heard was that, well, we were just lying. We were just saying the masks don't do anything so that we would have enough masks for the doctors and nurses who really needed them. Because I don't know if you remember what happened with
Oh,
hand sanitizer. Is that it was just
oh,
gone? Nobody could get it, right?
hand
Or
sanitizer.
toilet
How
paper.
about toilet paper?
Yeah. So that's what I guess. I mean, the whole Dr. Fauci. That's what I heard them basically say is, look, we put out the message that masks weren't important because we really need them for our doctors and nurses.
I actually hadn't heard that. I just thought maybe the evidence or the information around wearing masks wasn't as clear initially. That's what I assumed, and that's what caused the initial confusion. And maybe some people didn't take COVID as seriously in the beginning, so they were just like, "Why are we wearing masks?" That's how I interpreted it. But that's a good point.
I mean, if
Maybe
you
it
think
was
about it,
strategic.
though, yeah. If what I'm saying is the way, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they were afraid that they were just going to run out of masks, and they really needed them for doctors and stuff. It's worse, right? It's because that is them deliberately lying,
Yeah.
and so it's like, well, but now trust us and wear the mask because we're saying now for sure. And it's like, okay, dude.
The government doesn't lie, okay?
I don't know. I wear the mask. I'm putting it out
We're
there.
gonna turn this into a conspiracy theory podcast.
Hey, man.
And
So
talk about
some conspiracy theories are real.
well, just because we're paranoid doesn't mean, you know, we don't have good reasons to be paranoid,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, but I think we kind of like delved really deep into COVID, right? But this is supposed to be more about what's going on, like how is the work from home slash work remote, because you don't, now that places are opening up, you don't necessarily uh need to work from home
Right.
if you're
Yeah.
working remotely, because you could go to Starbucks, right? And then there's all these videos on the internet, these pictures on the internet where there's this guy sitting at the beach and coding, or near the pool, you know.
What about the glare, man? Doesn't the sun
Exactly.
just
You know, I actually tried that one time. I tried to go to the beach and get some work done. There was no work done that day.
yeah.
There was zero. The productivity was less than zero, probably negative.
Yeah.
Negative 100% productivity at the beach. Because even if the glare wasn't there, the beach is for relaxing. The pool is for relaxing. Okay, don't try to mix relaxation with work. It's not gonna work.
Yeah. Yep. Because you'll do one of them and not the other.
Yeah,
And
it's just like when people try to watch TV and work. It's like, really?
yeah, no, no. But see, I will defend that to a certain degree because there are some tasks that are like you've just done them a million times, and it's like, oh man, this is gonna take me an hour. I could put on The Office or something while I'm doing this.
Yeah, you know, those copy pasty tasks.
Yeah,
Um,
not that I'd put on The Office during work. I don't. I'm, I don't do that.
Well, so did you hear about Quibi?
No.
So Quibi is this startup that apparently was only around for 6 months, and their whole thing was that um, they would create TV episodes or movies that only that are only 10 minutes in length, and their whole thing was like, yeah, you could watch this on the go and blah blah blah, right? So so anyway, they pretty much filed for bankruptcy sometime uh, this week. And online, on LinkedIn, some guy was saying, well, their whole business model was hoping that at work you would like try to squeeze in a 10-minute show while the boss isn't looking. But since
Okay.
the pandemic hit, people can watch entire Netflix episodes from home and the boss won't even know.
So that's why they went out of
So
business.
that's why Quibi didn't survive. And I'm like, really?
Wow.
That's
Talk about
so
conspiracy theories.
so so I was like, that's a strong allegation to make. And you probably shouldn't be saying that because, a lot of people reading this are someone's boss, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly though, like
Right. So
that
they're thinking, am I
concern.
watching Netflix?
Yeah, I mean, dude. But here's the thing. Like, I feel like okay, because there's also that thing of like, I don't know if you heard. It was on that Joshua Fluke guy's channel.
Yeah. The
We talk
grind
about
wheel.
him all the time. Grind wheel, yeah. Um, like his biggest fans apparently. He found this software or whatever that like super tracks you. It like, and you
you,
don't
you
even
know what
know.
mine's like the worst aspects of work, of
Yeah,
corporate
and this is like
life.
they didn't even tell their employees that they were installed on the machine and all this stuff. But I mean, to me, honestly, that kind of like micromanaging,
Yeah.
um, I guess it could be useful in the scenario because as a sort of a tech leady manager nowadays, I kind of have this responsibility of like making sure other people are productive or whatever. And if somebody was, I felt like slacking already, maybe it could help me like confirm the theory. But honestly, dude, if you don't know that your employee is not being productive, um, you have bigger problems, right? Like if you need a piece of software to tell you this person's not producing, isn't that like isn't that pointing to a bigger root issue where it's like, hey, wait, I don't actually know what I'm expecting of this person, so I can't measure whether or not they're delivering it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like, and what? Here's how I'm going to solve that problem. I'm going to install software to spy on them. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
okay,
the thing is, if you have to install software to spy on your employees to make sure that they're productive, maybe you hired the wrong employees. Maybe
yeah.
you
Well,
need to look at your hiring process.
I think it's more like you don't know what you're trying to get out of this employee, right? Because
Yeah.
I guess to me, like, and I, you know, I have to try to.
Before you even install the software, you think you should know, well, this person isn't meeting XYZ deliverable. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like I'm hoping that this developer will produce kind of this much code per day, and their manager should be able to tell whether or not they're going along well, and if they're when they get stuck, you kind of know like these are the reasons they got stuck, and they come to you and they communicate, and it's just a normal thing where the weird part of it to me gets involved is okay, instead of like just knowing, like let's say as a tech lead or as a manager, hey, this person is not like keeping up with the other developers, or they're struggling in this area, or they're just super slow or something, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just knowing that, it's like I need to watch them work, which like I can understand pure programming and like maybe yeah, I think there's probably legitimate reasons to want to like remote desktop in and watch somebody work or whatever. But
Oh, no, that would be super weird, but okay.
have you ever done
That'd be
peer
uncomfortable.
programming? Have you done that?
No,
It's pretty
no, but I mean
cool.
that's different. That's
Yeah.
like you and a colleague, right? Well, actually, that I would. That's incorrect. I mean, it wasn't officially called peer programming, but like, I mean, I feel like anytime you and your tech lead work on an issue or work through a problem, it's kind of peer programming, right? If
Yeah.
unless they're just like, do this, this, and this, and walk away. If they're actually there for an extended period of time. So yeah, I have experienced peer programming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so yeah. I don't know. I obviously have kind of some strong opinions about the whole like monitoring stuff, but I think it leads to a work from home topic for sure, which is like, how do you kind of, because I think a lot of employers are used to, number one, they're people just being there. They can look over there, they can say, there's Steve, and he's at his desk, and he's not like looking at porn or something. He is working. I can see that his screen has like work stuff on it, right? There's code flying around, and he's
But
not.
that doesn't. True, true. I get that. I think though, if that's necessary, then there's some level of maybe insecurity from the employer, like because you have to physically see the person. Because I mean, in reality, someone could be staring at the screen all day and look like they're productive, but they're not actually doing anything, right?
They're just some like monk who can just stare and not do anything.
I mean, they could be listening to our podcast
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah.
be, you know,
That's
you
true. That is
know,
very true.
they're like looking at the Magento documentation, but they're really tuning into us.
Yes. Yes. Well, okay, so I'm going to defend employers a little bit from what you said, which is insecurity, but I think it's more of just habit, right? Like
Yeah.
they're not, I think now kind of a lot of them, especially the bigger like tech companies who can afford to kind of try the, or not try, but just continue to be remote, is they kind of had this realization, I think, of like, oh, you know what, I can tell that these people are being productive or not because they were forced to, to kind of re-examine like, well, how am I gonna, besides just seeing them over there sitting there and working, um, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna know? And it's like, oh yeah, I kind of do know already. Let's maybe formalize some things of like, um, you know, check-ins or goals. I think that's a lot of times that's kind of where like planning and maybe not sprints necessarily if it's an agile thing, but definitely if you're doing sprints, like what you're expecting out of people in what amount of time, right? They basically volunteered saying I could do this work in that amount of time. You
Yeah.
assigned it to them, and you're like expecting that it gets done. And who cares if they're watching The Office while they do it, right? Like I just don't. It doesn't matter to me. You can watch whatever, just get the stuff done in the amount of time. And if they could like turn The Office off and go faster, that would be awesome. But I just don't know. Like I'm trying to think like as a tech lead, like not as me because I don't watch TV or whatever while I'm working. I'm a freaking maniac. I'm obsessed with work while I'm working. I'm obsessed with work while I'm not working. So, whatever. But for like the people I'm overseeing and stuff like that, like I don't know. Yeah. I guess it is a matter of like I would expect them to take personal responsibility to not be messing around when they should be working. Period. Now, if they are doing that, that's trouble. Like, and if I figure it out somehow, that's all bad. But if whatever,
The,
like,
the thing is, though, the team you manage is already remote, right?
yeah, yeah, well, exactly. Like, I was already all my team is remote. We're like the on-site component
Yeah,
of a mostly remote team. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So So I mean, pre-COVID, post-COVID, it's the same thing. I mean, people aren't gonna magically see COVID. Like people that were working remotely and producing at a certain level aren't gonna magically stop producing because okay, now I'm working remotely because of COVID. It's just they're
Well,
gonna continue to produce. What do you think?
no, yeah, you're right. But like, I guess something like an area where that could kind of happen um, is like you said, like where things got shut down. So let's say you had a remote co-working place that you went to and you were super comfortable. They provided like screens and chairs and desks, and then you couldn't go there. So
Yeah,
you'd be stuck at home with like whatever you have.
yeah.
And I kind
Maybe less screens.
yeah, I ended up in that situation for sure. Like my at-home office was underprepared for me to sit at it for 8 plus 10, 8 or 10 hours a
uh,
day.
I'll tell you, my seat. I bought like a super cheap chair
Yep,
from what's that furniture place?
IKEA.
IKEA.
Yeah.
Man, after 8 hours sitting in this, I can like I don't want to be inappropriate or anything, but parts of me hurt. And I need a new chair. I just haven't had any time to go and get it. And on top of that, I'm cheap. But
You're buying podcast mics when your back is hurting and your butt.
my back is fine.
Oh, it's that's
It's the other one. It's just like it takes me like 5 minutes to, get up.
so okay. That is I had to get a chair. I
Yeah.
had to get a desk. I had to get whiteboard
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I mean like certain things were okay. Like I was set up to do 4 hours of work max. Like some studying or some side jobbing was what it was basically, and
Yeah.
that was comfortable. But dude, as soon as I started going over that kind of 4 hour mark in that old setup, I was just like, like broken human being coming out of the room.
Like I mean, I already like pre-COVID and all of that, I already had a desk. Just because I always have had intentions to work from home. And I like to have a desk to sit at. I'm not one of those people that can sit in bed and try to be productive. Like anytime I'm in my bed, I'm gonna fall asleep, man. Like I if my head hits that pillow, I'm dozing off and within 10 minutes, sometimes even less. So definitely not one of those people. So yeah, I definitely need to feel like work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I'm at a desk and I mean business, right? In order for me to be productive. And now that I have multiple like before, like I used to be able to code on a small screen, like on a laptop and whatever. But then once I started working on multiple screens, that was like out of the window. Like I need at least one other screen, right? Because I have my terminal and my IDE, and then I need the browser and I need to access the database. And then it just gets super chaotic. It gets chaotic on 3 screens. So just on one screen, it's just like my mind, like I can't do all of this on just one screen. So I had already gotten a monitor, a chair, the same uncomfortable chair that I have right now. I just didn't sit in it as much. Um, Now that we're doing the podcast, obviously, I got this nice mic and a sexy webcam
do you use
to
it
make
on your
me
Zoom calls like at work?
my mic. Yes, I do. For the longest, I had these crappy headphones, or slash, I mean, a headset.
Do you turn the light on in your eyes?
Oh no, we only turn on the video once a week on Thursdays.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So,
It's like
but
company FaceTime.
yeah, it's like we want to see you. I don't know. I don't know who came up with that policy. It was there before.
I think a lot of people are doing that, like where they're not only doing like normal work meetings, but they're also having kind of like more like turn your camera on and like let's all chat type of things.
Oh well, so twice a month we go in to the office, social, and we have a socially, I don't know, socially distanced. Mm-mm. Socially, yeah, I
Social
guess.
distancing.
Okay, yeah. So we have a IT meeting where we practice social distancing, and we have like a typical scrum, like food is bought and stuff like that, and we just we talk about updates on like company updates, what's happening.
Do you wear masks
We do wear masks.
and you eat food somehow?
We take the masks off, eat, and then after eating, we put the mask back on.
And everybody does it. Everyone wears the masks.
Everyone wears the mask.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't have that. We have a lot of people at our company do not wear the mask.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we go in like
Shame on you.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing about our company though, it's a very large building. So social
Yeah,
distancing is like not a problem. The
yeah.
only time you run into that is like bathroom or kitchen. And if you run into someone who doesn't have a mask, obviously you just like avoid them. You can stay 12 feet away if you want pretty easily. But yeah, I mean, we kind
Double
of
it up.
have, it's almost like factions starting of like maskers and anti-maskers. I don't know.
Here, here we are back with the politics, man.
Yeah, it's my bad. Okay. Interesting.
But so the building is large enough. The thing is, we want it to be more social without, there's no handshaking or embracing or anything like that. Everyone's
Chest
just,
bumping.
yeah, no touching at all. Everyone tries to maintain their distance, but it allows us to interact with each other and kind of like, especially for me, being a new person, if I'm just fully remote and I don't interact with other people on my team, then I really know those people from Scrum updates? No. I don't know if they're a masker or anti-masker. If I'm just seeing, I'm just kidding. I don't know if I should be aligned with them or not. but but yeah, that's what we do twice a month. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
The other thing, did you see what happened with a certain news personality on a Zoom call, Mr. Tubin?
Oh boy. Was he fondling himself? Was that the one?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I heard about that. I didn't see it.
That was a bit interesting because apparently he didn't intentionally uh um expose himself to his to the people at his job, but it did happen, right? And I'm wondering like how often are things like that happening? Maybe you walk in and you didn't think the camera was on or something like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're not
Yeah.
wondering like how often that guy did that.
No. I
You're
mean, like
wondering.
in general,
Okay.
like when
All right.
inappropriate. I don't know. You and I could be having this Zoom call right now, right?
Yeah.
Because after all, it's a camera is on,
Yeah.
and maybe someone from my family might walk in. Maybe they're not exposed, but maybe they're doing something that probably shouldn't be on camera. That's
Yeah.
embarrassing, right?
Yeah. Or like you have like a parakeet and it just starts saying like profanities, or repeating things that you said
Oh
before.
yeah, maybe you're talking to your parent and you're just like talking smack about your boss or something.
Yeah. They're
It's
like,
like
screw that guy.
it's like uh he my boss is an idiot or something like that.
If he says transparency one more time, I'm gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna freak out, and the parent is just going
Yeah.
like, no, shh, quiet,
No, but
Iago,
yeah.
who is the parrot from Aladdin,
I know.
by the way.
I know, like some of my coworkers' pets have made some like some surprise,
Cameos.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Um, and then I mean, how
They
about
just want to
like,
be in the loop, dude.
oh my, you know what? I am not going down that path with you. I
Don't do
mean,
it. I shouldn't
how's
be
it
on that path myself, but you know.
how's it been with your kids though? Like, have they
So yeah,
interrupted?
yeah. But dude, that's like a perk to me. You know, to
Yeah,
have them, they're like my favorite people in the world, and you know, to have them interrupt me. Sure, sometimes it's like not a good time, but I mean, the way I work, I'm always heads down, like on something. So if they come in and they're like doing their thing or whatever, it's all good. I probably need a break anyway. You know, I
yeah,
don't take my breaks like I should. And um, so I love those interruptions. I mean, there's also other good interruptions. But I mean, as a whole, I would say, look, working from home has its pros and cons. Like, I'm not in an office where I'm all by myself. Even just being in a cubicle is kind of more distraction free. Um, my office, we do have like loud music that goes on, and it's not like I mean, I don't mind loud music, but like I just can't really focus necessarily with lyrics going on all the time.
yeah.
I just need like, you know, just
Some non-lyrical
yeah, yeah,
music.
chill
Well, not
wave.
non-lyrical, but just music without lyrics.
Exactly. But anyway, so there's kind of like that where it's like, yeah, sure, it's some ways it's more distracting at home, but also you don't have to commute. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
huge.
yeah. I mean, that is the number one perk. I don't look forward to having to wake up at a certain time and worry about traffic and all of that. Um, yeah, it's that is one big thing. Like that is why I love remote work. I mean, everything else. I mean, the everything else doesn't. Nothing much changes, or nothing else. What am I saying? Nothing much else changes, right? Because if you're putting in the same amount of work, then right, it's same stress and same level of effort. You're just at home um, with a little bit more opportunity for distraction. Um, but the commute, not having the commute, is a big like difference, which is super amazing. I love going to see my coworkers, but I hate driving to work, especially since my job is an hour and a half away.
Really?
Yeah.
Did did you move?
And no, no, I still live at the same place.
Oh, okay. So your job is just far away.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, the one thing though that is a little different for me anyway, since COVID, is not necessarily with the people who kind of report to me in a technical way, since they were already remote. But since I'm remote, the way I kind of communicate and interact with the people I used to be on site with has changed. The communication um, is a little different. And like you said, like new people that are starting now, even if they are like on site people, um, their onboarding is completely different. Their um, like meeting the team, it kind of has to happen in this remote way. And
Yeah. They're experiencing the company in a completely different way than, the people that were able to physically go in and get interviewed, right? And
yeah,
their attachment and relationship is a bit different, right?
yeah, yeah. And I mean, like you said, like, how do you really create, bonds with people remotely? We've had some ideas floated, like game night. Uh, you know, we could do like a StarCraft LAN party or Team Fortress or something. They also keep bringing up like board games, but I don't know how that would work exactly.
They're just like, yeah, we're gonna get the exact same board game.
That would
And when you make a move, I'll make that move for you on this side. When I make a move, you do the same thing, and I'll keep the camera on the board so you can see I'm not cheating. That sounds super complicated.
Yeah, and or maybe I'm confused, and it's like they have some like
A
online
digital board
board
game,
game.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
but
would
that's
imagine.
one idea. I think that could work too, like some kind of digital happy hour. The one that keeps coming up too is like, well, let's all watch a movie or something together. I don't know that would work well. I think that sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, I feel like it's just gonna be like you're watching the movie alone.
I don't want to talk to people. I barely want to talk to someone like sitting next to me while I'm watching a movie. Like small comments, but I'm like watching a movie.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's a weird idea.
That's like the whole
Whoever
thing
came
of
up with that idea,
yeah,
tell them
stupid.
no,
No,
horrible.
yeah,
Go
next.
back to the drawing board for sure.
Yeah. And get a drawing board first because you're at home. You need a drawing board.
Yeah.
That's the first step to going back to the drawing board nowadays.
Exactly. Um. So so yeah. For me, uh, what I don't like, I mean, I feel like in some instances I'm able to focus more because maybe in the office there's more opportunity, right? If you really like your coworkers and they're interesting people, then you could get sucked into conversations,
Yeah,
right?
or you just don't feel comfortable telling them to like f off. You kind of,
Exactly.
don't want to
Exactly.
ruin that relationship.
Exactly. Because that does happen too. Versus like
Oh,
if you're like me here, we kind of turned the second bedroom in our apartment into an office. And as you can see back there, my girlfriend never uses her office, or I mean her desk. So I'm just kind of in here alone. The only thing I hate is when the door opens. And it's fine if you open the door, but just close it. I like to feel like closed in, like not only do I need to feel like the thoughts in my head inhabit the room around me, right? And if there's like too much space, it's like the thoughts are escaping, right? It's like what that's why your head is closed, right? To keep the thoughts in. And the room, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy.
no, keep going.
Maybe I'm crazy, but the room has to be closed also, so my thoughts can exist in the room, right?
Yes.
So I don't like when the door is open. I like for the door to be closed. And then also, if the door is open and someone's doing something outside and I can see it, it's more likely to distract me versus if it's like I feel like I'm alone, right? And that's why I put headphones on. Even if I don't have music on,
I
I
do
put the
that too.
headphones on.
Yeah. Yep. And then just like ignore, if they're I can't hear you. I don't know. Headphones, obviously
Yeah, yeah.
busy. Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, that's really interesting about like your thoughts leaking out of the room. It's yeah, I mean, I for sure distractions. I mean, I feel like probably the most distracting thing for me though is notifications.
Yeah.
Still, even from home, um, yeah, like and
Email.
the thing that I do too is like to make sure that my bosses and um, let's even the people who kind of report to me as the tech lead know, like, hey, I'm online right now, I'm available, but also don't bother me for this amount of time. Like, you have to thread that needle of like, I'm politely telling you right now, like, I'm here, I'm working, but I'm working. So I have to do these things. I'm not going to be super responsive. And that is kind of like a hard pill to swallow to someone who used to just be able to come out of their office and be like, hey, Steve, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I have to, you
Yeah,
know,
because because they're a way of knowing that you're working. Like they were able to interact with you and see you before, and they're thinking, I'm gonna replace that with pinging him and communicating with him and seeing signs of life. And then you're saying, no, you're not.
no, it's all good. Like that you kind of have to do, right? Of like, yeah, I'm now remote, so I have to be um, super more responsive. And but all I'm saying is, here's a suggestion for you in that scenario. Also, try to reach out to those people. Be proactive when you need a little time. Like, hey, I for the next half an hour or hour, I'm gonna be working on X. So if you don't mind, I'm not gonna be super responsive, and I'll put it in like the whole development channel or whatever, and just let it hang out there that hey, I'm trying to accomplish something in the next amount of time. The other thing I do now is I schedule my development time or
Yeah.
whatever time. I put it on my calendar, block it off so that my day doesn't fill up with meetings and get like they have whoever's trying to put a meeting on my calendar, they have to schedule around what I scheduled already for what I'm planning to work on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? I think maybe I don't know this personally, but I think some employers may think, oh, okay, if we have a lot more meetings and check-ins, then we can make sure people are being productive. But that may actually, um, you know, be counterproductive because now the person has to sit through more meetings,
Yeah, we added
right?
a second scrum basically at the end of the day.
Yeah. So however long that lasts, I mean, because I mean, technically Scrum is supposed to be 15 minutes, but in
Yeah,
reality, a lot of times it does get extended to like 30 minutes or however long, depending on, you know, teammates and how long they talk or what issues come up, and then it just turns into a full meeting,
yeah,
right?
and I mean, have you ever heard it called stand up?
Yeah.
And the whole idea behind that is if you get everybody to actually stand up, that they won't want to stand for very long. you
Oh
know?
wow.
Yeah.
That's evil.
Hmm.
Oh, I thought it was just stand up like for. I mean, I always pictured it, as okay, quick meeting, just like a scrum. But I didn't realize the whole purpose of standing up was because you want people to be quick.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But how about these people at their stand up desks and they just stand
Yeah.
up for
They're
hours?
breaking the whole system. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, now this person's gonna want to talk even more because they all of their ideas come to them when they're standing up.
We'll have to
They
put
don't
them on
like
a
sitting down
treadmill.
anyway, huh?
Call it treadmill. And
We
it's
just
like you have to give your update while like doing burpees or something.
we just make those people sit down. Everybody stand up except the people that like to stand up.
Yeah. Like fidgeting in their seats like this isn't good for my heart. Haven't you read the research?
uh,
Humans aren't made to sit for 8 hours a day.
I mean, do you stand up at any time in work?
Yeah. Yeah. I go for a walk every morning at 11. Um, and I mean, I've done the stand up desk thing. It's hard though because, um, well, at the last company I was at, we had like a special area for stand up desks. So you could like go over there with your MacBook and do your work. You couldn't like, I mean, I guess I could, but it wasn't easy to just bring your big monitors and stuff over there and like set up at the standing desk area.
Yeah, that's too um difficult to like do on a regular basis.
I knew a guy who was a back-end developer who coded on a treadmill for more than a month. He did it was treadmill desk. It was interesting. Like, he really did it though.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
But I mean, I imagine it was like at a walking speed.
yeah. And it
Okay,
wasn't all
because
the time, like, but for a good portion of every day, he worked and walked.
wow.
Yeah, it was a trip.
Was it? Did he produce the same amount of work, or?
Uh, I think so. Yeah, I think he may have produced more work. He definitely lost weight too. Like, he hit his goals.
Oh
But
wow.
he didn't eventually keep doing it. I think like he kept that desk around, but he doesn't do it like all the time. So
Yeah, I mean, now I'm inspired to go to the gym because, like, I've been trying to go to the gym, but I have so much going on that I always like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it today, and then it's just like, I gotta do this, and this, and then I got a podcast, and I really want to do my podcast, so I'm not going to the gym. But if I could like do that,
yeah.
there's a way to fit it in.
Well, you know you could do. There's another version of it, right? So instead of going all the way,
Yeah.
you can. There's a thing you put under your desk while you're sitting, and you just pedal.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like just a little thing, and it's just you pedal at your desk.
Yeah, I could imagine like sitting down on like one of those exercise bikes or whatever fancy name they have now.
Pedalton
Yeah, and you know,
attack bike.
just having two screens mounted on the side, and yeah, and just moving my legs. I That one might actually be more feasible, I guess.
Well, it's closer to like if you're used to sitting all day.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah,
kind of have to make the transition to being a standing desk person first and getting comfortable with that. And then it's like, okay, maybe I'm going to start walking. But with the
yeah.
cycling one, it's like, oh, I'm already sitting. I could just move my legs around, I guess. And
Yeah, and then you could just move your legs around while you're thinking, because when you're developing, you're not necessarily typing all the time. Sometimes you just take 15 minutes to actually think. And while you're thinking, you could like um mindlessly just move your legs, right? It's
yeah,
not,
but there's
yeah.
no resistance going on with that, man. I mean, or you just gonna like have restless leg syndrome and
I don't know. I'm just trying to make it work.
I
uh,
guess. Yeah, I mean, you like set up like a little hopscotch down there and just like kind
hey,
of.
I mean, maybe in the future, we'll be able to like do speech to code or something,
Yeah.
right? And it'll be easier to exercise because we won't need our hands.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's this whole new movement of like low code, no code, right? So, I mean, possibly we're going to be out of jobs soon, right? Heard of
Well,
this?
I'm always thinking though about having how to like optimize things I do in Magento because there's so many things that are just like repeated, and I'm just like, maybe I could write a script that just creates a module for me. I'm pretty sure like there are a few, but I'm just thinking, what if I could like have it integrated into the terminal or something, and I just say the module's named this, and add a preference for this class, and it just creates like a shell of it, and just like boom. Because I mean, they're like, I already know how to create a module, right? Why do I need to like write that code again and again?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good idea.
But I we're hitting the 1 hour mark. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on regarding working from home, or?
No, I'm good. It's a good episode, dude. Good to talk
Yeah,
to you.
yeah, I think so. Guys, again, thank you for having you. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're new, like also. If you're not new, don't subscribe because you can't. But if
If
you
you're
do
wearing
have
a
second
mask,
account,
click like. If you're not wearing a mask, click like.
Exactly. All the different combinations. Just find a way to interact with our YouTube channel, and show us some love because we love you. And if you want to see us cover a topic, just drop a comment. And if we have enough time from our busy schedules, we'll think about talking about your topic.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Yeah, let's do listener topics. I think we're gonna do listener interviews soon too, right? We're gonna get some cool listeners on to talk.
Yeah, some people want to join the want to be
Tip their hat to the
on the
Magentlemen.
podcast, want to show some love to you guys. So yeah.
Yes. Tip of the old fedora.
Well,
All right.
bye guys. See you next time.
Peace.